Welcome to Seth's Daily Podcast here on Nighthawk Radio. To listen to Nighthawk Radio, go to nighthawk-radio.com. We're also on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, YouTube Music, everywhere you find good podcasts at. Seth's Daily Podcast is on every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on nighthawk-radio.com. Blessed enough to have an interview with Gideon Drake. How are you doing tonight, man?
Pretty good.
Did I butcher your name or did I get it right?
No, Gideon is fine.
Gideon. Why did I say Gideon? Oh,
Mm.
that's a YouTuber. That's why. Gideon Drake. Sorry about that, man.
No problem.
Wasn't there a show called? Oh, I know why that sounds familiar. There's a
Gideon from
show.
Criminal Minds.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Appreciate you
Glad to
being
be
on,
here.
man. Yes, sir. Let's
Glad to
talk
be
about
here.
your. Thanks, man. Let's talk about your books, brother. So, what is your three books about?
So my most recent book is Whispers in the House. It's a psychological horror. It's about a woman who is a grieving mother taking care of her kids after the loss of her husband. A lot of strange things starts happening inside the house, and she starts hearing voices, things appearing where they shouldn't be. The kids won't eat. They won't hardly talk. A lot of weird things happening. She's learning some secrets about the house that she didn't know, and really, she thinks she's losing her mind. Meanwhile, the neighbors are getting concerned because they haven't seen the kids in several weeks, and the police show up to investigate. And what they find inside the house is shocking.
So, what
So
do they
it's kind
find
of
in the house?
you'll have to read and find out. uh, Things aren't always as they appear. It's a story about kind of how grief can can make you see things and try to hold on to things that may not be your actual reality. And that's what a lot of my stories are about. Uh, the other one of the other books, the second book that I wrote was Realm of Illusions. That one was actually inspired from an actual nightmare that I had a few years ago, and it was one of those things where it's so kind of creepy and scary and real that I was like, and this would have to be a good story. And so I took kind of the nightmare, which was me in the nightmare, and I was surrounded by a bunch of masked faces and couldn't get away, and kind of like an old carnival type thing. So that was kind of the setup for the story of Realm of Illusions, and then building a story around that, which is a sleep therapist who treats patients for their dreams and nightmares. And she starts having nightmares too. And then those nightmares start bleeding over into her reality, where she's seeing images and visions from her nightmares while she's awake. Then one of her patients disappears, and while she's helping investigate that, she discovers that there's a link between the disappearance and her nightmares that's tied to her past and something that she's been running from. And she ends up trapped inside of her nightmare trying to find an escape back to her reality. So that's kind of the story of the Realm of Illusions. And the first book that I wrote, it was kind of a crime thriller mystery type. It's called Awake in the Shadow, and it's the story of a teacher who has sleepwalking episodes, and she wakes up in the woods next to a dead body, and she has no memory of how she got there. And she ends up being a prime suspect in a series of murders in her small town. And each time she wakes up at the scene with no memory of how she got there, and her best friend are trying to prove her innocence while everybody else thinks she's guilty. And Emily's struggling with the fact that a lot of people that she trusted turned their back on her and thought that she was guilty. And meanwhile, she don't know if she is innocent or if she's actually doing it and just don't know. So a lot of plot twists throughout the story with some deceit, betrayal, and a lot of that, and a shocking twist at the end when you find out who's responsible.
That's very interesting, man. So who inspired you to get into books?
Um, so growing up, I always loved reading like the Stephen King stuff. That was all. Anytime a new book came out, I was at the library grabbing it, reading it. Uh, then whenever I was in high school, I enjoyed writing like little short story, mystery type stuff, and so I enjoyed writing it, but never thought I was really that good at it. And then I tried writing something when I was like in my 20s or so, like a vampire story, and just never really finished it or anything. Then fast forward till I'm in my 40s, and then I go back to school and worked on my bachelor's and my master's. So I end up doing a lot of research projects and a lot of research papers, doing a lot of academic writing. And now I'm working on my PhD. And so, I mean, I really enjoyed the process of doing the research papers where you research everything out and then kind of outline, lay everything out to tell a story to the reader. And I thought, well, what if I take this process and apply it to something more creative that's a lot more fun? So that was what I did with The Wake in the Shadow. And I thought, well, I'll just put it out there and see how it does. And if it if it don't do good, then I won't do it anymore. And if it does good, then I'll keep doing it. And it actually did a lot better than I thought. And so here I am now working on book number 4. So I was able to take that process that I used from the academic side and apply that same process to something a little bit more creative and get to kind of explore a darker side of the human nature, which really interests me. That's the kind of stuff that I like to watch. If I'm going to watch a movie, I'm going to be watching some kind of a horror movie or a thriller movie, or that's the kind of stuff that I like to read. So it's just natural that that's the same kind of stuff that I would end up writing about.
Yeah, I actually see the books behind you, man. Would you care to get one of them and show them on camera?
Yeah, I can. Well, I have 3 of them right here beside me. So there's Whispers in the House. That is the newest one that released in September. And Realm of Illusions. That one released back in May.
Oh, that's a very interesting design, man. Um, what made you come up with that design?
Uh, it's got the little, yeah, like when you go to the carnivals and stuff, they got the little mirrors set up out front or the little sign things that talks about the ride or whatever. So the original concept of it was these evil clown faces or whatever. So that's why there's a evil clown face in the sign. And then the other is just an old circus carnival type thing with a lot of heavy editing in it. So that's kind of where that design came from. I found a stock photo that had like an old circus type thing. So that's where I usually do my covers. Me and my daughter does them. And then this one is Wake in the Shadow. That was the first one that I did. So me and my daughter do most of the cover work for it. Just take stock photos, do a lot of heavy editing, and then she does digital art too. So then she goes in and does the little touch ups and add stuff to it.
Pretty cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah, I like the designs for sure.
Yeah.
And what got you started doing TikTok lives, man? It's about your books.
Um, I started doing the books, and I've always been on TikTok, just kind of scrolling through or whatever. About 2 years ago, I did like some digital marketing, so I kind of did use TikTok some for it, and did like sales funnels and affiliate stuff like that. So I was already kind of familiar with TikTok, so I thought, well, since I'm doing these books and they was doing pretty decent on Amazon at the time, so I thought I would go to TikTok and start kind of promoting some of it too. And then I never had really done much lives or anything on TikTok, and then I ran into another author and they was telling me that they started doing lives and it got their followers and stuff up pretty quick. So I started doing lives, working on that, and then did a little bit of research and opened up a TikTok shop on there and started selling books on there where I do signed copies through my TikTok shop. And it's actually been really, really good. Just
It's
recently,
very
recently I sold out of two of my books that I had in stock. And so uh, I've got a bunch more. I've got a bunch more stuff coming in this weekend, but they've I listed some up, wasn't sure how well they'd do, and then they ended up doing better than I expected. So it's always a good thing.
definitely, man. That's actually a very interesting route, to put your books on the TikTok shop. I've never heard anybody doing that, man. So
Really.
that's some new age stuff.
Mhm. So yeah, anything on my TikTok shop, I sign and personalize and ship it out. And then everything's also available on Amazon in paperback and ebook on Kindle.
Yeah. And you also have like an audio version, I'm sure.
That's coming. I don't have the audio version yet, but that is coming pretty soon. I've had a lot of
Def-
people ask about it.
I mean, that's where it's headed, man, is audio.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So it's
I,
definitely
I think Kindle
coming up.
does audio, right?
They're starting a new thing now, but not everybody has access to it. It's in a beta, so certain people get it and certain people don't. Where they take the ebook and convert it to audio. So they have
Yeah,
a AI option that converts it to audio, and you can control kind of some of the tones and settings and all of that stuff, and a lot of editing features in it. But I have not seen that actually work yet, so I don't
that's
know
really
exactly how
cool.
it works.
Yeah, that's really cool, though, man. So, what inspired your first book? You said a dream inspired your second one, right?
Yeah, the first one, "Wake in the Shadow," was whenever I had decided that I wanted to uh, try my hand at some creative writing, and me and my daughter was out someplace, I think, getting her ears pierced or something. We was sitting around waiting, and we was kind of tossing around ideas of stuff that would make a good book. And somehow the idea and concept came up of, well, what if somebody was sleepwalking and they woke up next to a body and they was holding the murder weapon, but they didn't have any memory of what happened? And that's kind of where that whole story kind of started with. And the ending of the story was actually my wife's idea because we was tossing around some possible endings to it. And so my wife gave me an idea for ending for it that would be pretty cool. So if anybody likes the ending to that book, they can thank her for that one.
So what's the challenges in writing a book, man?
Um, so one of the things is really, I know that a lot of people just sit down and start writing and they don't really plan anything out. They just let the book kind of go where it goes. It's hard for my mind to work that way just because of the years in school and the discipline of having to outline everything and lay everything out. So I think some of the biggest challenges is uh, building out the characters and the worlds, and kind of figuring out where the characters gonna how they start and how they end up, and kind of the changes that they go through the process, and then getting everything together. And so far, every one of my books have started out with an outline and a plan. And by the time I get to the end of it, it is totally different. than the what I had originally planned for it to. So I do have a outline and a plan for where I want the story to go, but uh, things usually shift somewhere along the way. And I'm not so rigid with the outline and plan that I say that it has to stick that. If the story tries to go a different direction, then I just let the story go a different direction and then kind of adjust from there.
So basically, you're coming up with ideas each day.
Yeah. So, I have like usually I'll lay it out where I have like a story idea. Then I'll kind of figure out how I want the ending to turn out and work backwards from the ending and then figure out kind of put together a timeline of things that I want to happen throughout the story, kind of plug those in different places and then develop kind of come up with ideas for scenes that I want to happen along the way. But then once I actually start writing it, uh, if it feels like the story would be better going a different way, then I just let the story go a different way and then just adjust to that. So yeah, it's very, it's not uncommon that I'll start writing one or two chapters, and by the time I get through the next chapter, I kind of figure something else kind of comes to mind that I think would be better than what I originally did, and it just kind of flows from there. I think Rim of Illusions, the version that's out now, is probably like the third version of that from where it started because it started out to be something totally different than where it ended up. I remember at one point I got to like chapter 6 and then thought about a different direction that I thought would be better and ended up deleting the whole first 6 chapters and then having to rewrite them again. And so in some of them, I'll write through the thing. And by the time I get to the end of it, there's something in the story that I think that I want to change based on how the ending is. And then a lot of those changes all happen during the editing process.
So, what do you think about people using AI to write their stories?
I have not seen too much luck with AI writing a story. Um, I use it a lot in like research and stuff for like the universities because it helps you find things a lot quicker. But as far as like writing long form stuff, it doesn't seem to do very well
Do you think
because
that's the future?
I think probably in some point I would say yeah, but as far as writing like there may be a time when it may be able to write like a full length novel, but currently it cannot write anything like that without without a lot of uh human interjection for it because AI cannot remember that much stuff at once because it has a bad what they call AI hallucination where it just starts making stuff up and kind of goes off tangent. So even if you do use it for stuff, you still constantly have to redirect it for what you're looking for. I mean, even like doing research, I look at it more as like a kind of Google on steroids more than
Yeah,
anything, where like if you want to know something, you can look it up. But so I mean, it's helpful for some things, but I just don't think it's where you can take AI and write a whole novel with it right now.
I think it's where it's headed, though. We're just in the beginning stages of AI.
Yeah, I think it's going to continuously develop and it's going to
Hmm.
continuously get better. But I think you're always going to need some kind of human interaction for it to do what you want it to do.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're definitely right about that because AI is everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right about that. AI be losing focus and just be typing everything in the world that doesn't even make sense with what you ask. Sometimes it does, sometimes.
yeah. Because even like with doing like research, where like, it's really helpful if you put in a topic and say, find me some articles or something about this. A lot of times it will just make stuff up and give you references to article, and the references are just made up. They don't even exist. So even the stuff that AI does do and give to you, you still have to go back and fact check it and double check it because it's not 100% accurate all the time.
Yeah. I'm glad to have AI though. AI is a very helpful tool.
Yeah, it is helpful in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just going to get more advanced.
I think you're probably right.
I
I
think
think that's the
we're just seeing the beginning stages of it, man. I think it's going to possibly take over some jobs.
it will, but I think you're still going to need some people to be able to do the prompt the prompt engineering and stuff for it to develop the good prompts for it to do what you need to do.
Hey, that's what you need to write a robot book.
I'm sure there's some out there.
Robots taking over. I mean,
Oh yeah,
we're
maximum
get
overdrive.
we're getting closer to robots taking over jobs. They have took some jobs, robots have actually.
Yeah, they have.
Yep. It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, man. So you do a lot of topics on TikTok Live about your book and stuff.
yeah, I do some. Since I've been going live, I haven't done as many videos and stuff as I did before about the books and stuff. Because I usually go live twice a day, once early in the morning and then once in the evening. So I'll be on live a little bit later tonight, kind of
Definitely, man.
generating some additional interest and stuff in my books and what I'm doing and working on, and let people get to know me a little bit better. So it's always fun.
Has a famous person bought your book before?
Has a famous person bought my book? Not that I know of.
Oh man. Not that you know of. They might be using another name.
Not that I know of. So the good thing about TikTok is when somebody orders it, I can see who's actually ordering it. Where on Amazon, when people order it, I have no idea who orders it or who reads it over there. So you never know.
What's some of the reviews on your book, man?
Um, so the reviews in my TikTok shop are all like 5 stars. Uh, People reading it can't put it down. Come back and buy more. There's also quite a few. So I think Rim of Illusion is like 4.4 stars on Amazon with about 10 reviews. Awake in the Shadows has 20 reviews and it's at like 4.2 stars. So pretty good ratings. Rim of Illusions, there was a lot of reviews on it about really enjoying it. Same thing with Awake in the Shadows. I can't pull up some of the reviews on my laptop right now, but I actually did some TikTok views where I posted some of the reviews on there and read some of the reviews that I'd gotten on some of my books on some of my TikTok videos. But since I opened my TikTok shop, most of my sales has been coming from there. And I've had a lot of people who bought one, read it, came back and bought the other two and read them and have left really good reviews on my TikTok shop about them. So people keep coming back for more. So that's a good thing.
As a creator, how's it feel when you see a good review of your book, man?
It makes me feel good. Uh, I really like the messages that I get from people sometimes where it'll be like, what did you just do to me? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't want to put it down. I had one that told me that they knew that the story was coming to an end, so they read the last chapter really slow because they didn't want it to end. And they put the book down and they had to go get it, and they didn't want to put the book down, that they wanted to finish the story. So that's a good thing that a lot of my Rim of Illusions is like 300 pages, but the other two are like 200 pages. So it's not a real super long book to read. So it's one of those type of books that you can sit down and probably read the whole thing in a day, maybe 2 days. So it's something that can keep you interested in it and something you can finish without having it drag on for a long period of time, like some of the really big books.
I know it's gonna be a hard question, brother, but which book is your favorite?
All of them, all of them for different reasons. So I get that question a lot on my lives: is which one's my favorite one, or which one should I read first? And they're all three different. And but I will say that this one probably has the most personal connection to me, just because it was inspired from a dream of mine, where the other two were kind of ideas that I got with someone else or that someone gave to me. Whispers in the House started off with an idea from my niece that I ended up taking and turning into that story. But like I said, Realm of Illusions was one that I planned that book out for probably a year before I actually even wrote it, on kind of, just based off the nightmare that I had. So I don't know if I'd say it was my favorite, but it's definitely the one that I have the closest connection to, if that answered your question.
I I think you just love every book, which is how it should be, man. I mean, you love every book that you've done.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean, like
is
I
this
said,
fourth one gonna be your favorite though?
uh, you know, to be honest with you, it might be because I'm having a lot of fun with it, a lot of fun. And I, and the fourth one that I'm doing, it is the one I'm doing right now, is actually going to be part of a series with a lot of different things going on in this girl's life. Um, so it's a story about a girl who inherits a house from her grandmother. She moves into the house and finds mysterious messages carved into the wall. Then she starts going through her grandmother's things, and she finds a lot of uh, notes from her grandma talking about something called the Pact and some really strange things happening. Later, she's going to learn that there have been a lot of evil things that have happened in that house, in that land, and she's going to learn why the house was never sold, that it was always inherited and passed down. And part of that story came from back whenever I was a lot younger. We used to run around out in the country, ride around and stuff. And we'd see like these old abandoned houses because we lived in a little town. And you'd see like some of these houses that hadn't been lived in a long time. And we kind of go check them out, see what they look like on the inside. Some of them would still have like wallpaper up, but the wallpaper was like peeling. I used to always wonder, uh, what all's happened and went on in that house before. And, kind of if those walls could talk, I wonder what they would say. Just kind of curiosity. And part of that kind of goes to the new story, too, where what if the walls inside the house could talk and all the stories that it could tell you? And what if some of the stories uh, were kind of creepy, scary stories that you may not want to hear? So that's where the kind of the dark side comes in and takes something like that and turns it into something to kind of keep you awake at night.
Yeah, that'll definitely keep you away. So where can people get your book at, man? On TikTok and
right
Amazon?
now, right now you can get physical copies, signed copies on my uh, TikTok shop. It's on TikTok. It's at Gideon Drake author. Is Look that up on TikTok and find me there and follow me there. That's where my shop is. Like I said, everything there is signed copies. Plus, it comes with a free bookmark with each one. You can also find the paperbacks on Amazon, and my ebooks are available on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. So that's the only places that they currently are. I do have plans coming up in the near future to be branching out into other markets for books, but right now those are the only places that you can get them.
Definitely, man.
So they're also available on Goodreads as well.
Send me a link after the interview and I'll put it in the description below.
Yep.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be on, man.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank everybody that has subscribed on YouTube, liked us on Facebook, gave us a follow on Facebook as well, has followed on Spotify. Go to nighthawk-radio.com to check us out. Seth's Daily Podcast is on every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out Awakening Radio every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on nighthawk-radio.com. Everybody have a good night and God bless.